the heaviest metal credit card of all time. Rumored to be one of only 18 in existence. Plated with the very same tungsten that forged the International Space Station. And wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
Now that's the new edition way.
I feel like there's another level we can take it to.
What you think, Mike?
2 steps ahead of you, Slick.
What's good, bro?
What you doing, man?
I'm in.
Woman, you don't even know what I'm getting ready to ask you.
Here's the vision. All 3 of us on the same stage every night.
Gonna be crazy.
No barriers, no separation.
It'll be like 9 kings and a queen.
The next level starts now.
Calling all collectors! Topps NBA basketball trading cards are back. It's available in the Grizzlies Den by Fanatics and online at Topps.com. Rip into bold color parallels, electric inserts, relics, and autographed cards from today's biggest stars and the next-gen talent. Look out for rookie cards of Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, plus Grizzlies favorites John Morant, Jalen Wells, and so many more. You don't want to miss this drop. Grab your set before it's gone.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat.
How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it.
I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at JeffDunham.com.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio. We're in FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. Think Boston will be the place where things got better for the Grizzlies, because that didn't happen. Rough night at TD Garden. The Grizzlies lost a 48-minute game of basketball by 36 points. We'll discuss it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment, about 20 minutes, Michael Wallace is going to join me. He was at TD Garden last night for Boston's victory over the Grizzlies. I'll get his thoughts on all things Grizz. He's going to join me in the next segment. Finish talking to Michael Wallace. We will take a break, come back, and do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we'll discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, after getting blown out by the Thunder last night, Luka of the Lakers took the high road when asked about the Mavericks firing Nico Harrison. I'll tell you what he said. We'll do that in about 40 minutes. On a night when Steph Curry went for 46 points in a win over the Spurs, it was Nikola Jokic who actually had the biggest performance of the evening, 55 points in a victory over the Clippers. We will applaud the world's best basketball player. We'll do that a little later on in the show. Rest in peace, Penny the Coin. Not Penny the coach, not Penny the Memphis legend. Totally different Penny. The actual Penny, the 1-cent coin. We're officially done making them. The last penny was made yesterday in Philadelphia. Now we're done with them. I'll tell you why. We'll do that in just a bit. Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal are this season's Cy Young Award winners. No surprises there. We'll spend a few minutes on that. On baseball, we'll do it in the third segment, and then there's a fun college basketball game set for tonight down in Tuscaloosa. Purdue at Alabama. It's a top 10 matchup. I'll get you ready for it during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll do GP's Carryout. We'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies, because game 13 of a scheduled 82, it was played last night inside TD Garden up in Boston. In hindsight, the Grizz would have been better off just forfeiting, I think. Final score, Celtics 131, Grizzlies 95. Yeah, the Celtics are without Jason Tatum because of a torn Achilles. And yeah, they no longer have Kristaps Porzingis or Drew Holiday or Al Horford from that championship team from 2 seasons ago. And yeah, they just lost to a Utah team earlier this month that ain't even trying to win, really? In other words, if you're thinking, but GP, I thought the Celtics as currently constructed, I thought they weren't that good. I thought so too.
They're probably going to be good in the East.
I thought so too. And they didn't have a record that suggested they were anything other than mediocre. Regardless, the Grizzlies were completely overwhelmed last night. No match for Boston, at least not without John Morant, who was unavailable for the second time in the past 7 games. The first one, of course, because of a suspension 2 weekends ago, and then last night because of what was described by @Grizzlies PR as right ankle soreness. Per usual, last night the Grizzlies fell behind early. They were down 4-0 after 90 seconds. They were down 20-10, 6.5 minutes in. They trailed by 21 at the half. They were behind by 38 points at one point, and they lost the game. Again, by 36. I'm sure there's positive in there somewhere, but boy, it sure didn't feel like it if you watched it unfold on the FanDuel Sports Network. Big Bet Bennett, it's good to see you on a Thursday.
Good to see you, man.
If you were curious, I made it back from New York with pretty much no issues. Be honest, did you make it through the full 48 minutes last night? Because I gather quite a few folks clocked out in the second half in the spirit of protecting their peace as the Grizzlies fell to 4-9 on the season, courtesy of what was the most lopsided loss in the NBA last night.
I mean, as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies radio network, it's kind of my job to watch every game from start to finish.
I understand.
So yeah, I was there from beginning to end. It was painful. You know, Vernon said in here yesterday, and I believe he said to you that this team looks joyless right now. I believe that was the exact word. And when he said it, I thought, that's kind of harsh. That's a little harsh. I mean, we're 11 games into this. Like, joyless? That's kind of harsh. That looked joyless last night to me, GP. That looked pretty joyless last night to me.
I was certainly joyless.
I was joyless myself.
I mean, I was looking forward to it. I landed a little after 5 o'clock, Memphis International, grabbed my bags. I'm like, man, I'm going to get home, get to see my family, and get to sit down in front of the television, turn on Pete and Brevin and Rom, and watch the Grizzlies against the Celtics. And, buddy, this is a bad matchup in recent years, but, you know, Jason Tatum's, he's in street clothes. Those Celtics that we watched win the championship a couple years ago, that's not who they are anymore. And then you get the news, of course, that John Morant is not going to play, and you're like, okay, well, that's going to probably make things tougher, but
they're still on a second night of a back-to-back just like we are.
Next man up mentality.
Yeah.
And I understand next man up mentality is rough when the next man up at point guard is Vince Williams.
That's tough.
I mean, that's tough.
All your point guards are injured.
You're down 4 point guards.
That's not good.
I mean, you're not even supposed to have 4 point guards.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. You're not even supposed to really need 4 point guards. All right?
Yeah.
They're down 4 point guards. So we can explain some of it away, but to your point, you should still be able to show up and compete. You should still be able to have some energy. I mean, keep in mind, there's a lot of guys who were on that court last night playing real minutes who, when things get back to normal, probably ain't going to be playing real minutes. Mm-hmm. So, like, why wouldn't you have energy and enthusiasm and joy when you're getting an opportunity that you might not have later in the season? You can't show up for work and work hard then. It'd be like if I, had to take a day out because travel plans. And then somebody else, not Lang, but like somebody else was sitting around and they were just like, man, I never get to host a show. I never get to host a show. I'd love to get to host a show. And it's like, okay, well, tomorrow's your opportunity. Come host the show. And then they just show up and they don't even try.
Yep.
You know, like what? Like, don't even prep, didn't get ready, just up here looking at you, going, what are we going to do today? Like, what? Like, this was the opportunity you said you wanted, and you had it. And you can't be ready to perform. And that's what last night was. It's one thing to lose basketball games to the Knicks and the Thunder. It's quite another thing to get blown out by that team when you look like you don't have the requisite energy, enthusiasm, to use you and Vernon's word, joy, to compete on a Wednesday night. It was bad. It looked bad. It was tough to watch.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. I mean, these past 2 games were both over in the first quarter. Yeah, I know the Knicks one was maybe like a 10-point game, but come on, we knew it was over. use the word joyless. And I was interested to see how it was going to look without Ja, because obviously Ja's been under the spotlight. Like, there's been a lot connected with Ja over the past couple weeks.
I know the whole world's trying to trade him. I think last night was pretty clear. If you ever get to that point, like, you better trade him for like 50 awesome players, because without him, that's what you get.
Yeah, and so, but even still, like, over the past couple seasons, like, we've had this kind of next man up mentality, and they've won games without him, right? And so it was like, well, let's see what happens. I mean, this isn't your granddad's Boston Celtics. They were 5-7 coming into this game. Like, let's see how competitive they can be tonight. And they weren't competitive at all,
because they didn't compete at all.
Well, and here's the thing.
Hard to be competitive when you don't even compete.
And I think the concerning thing, too, is like, Zach Edey's close to coming back. We know that. We heard Mike talk about it last night. And I'll be interested to see how they look with Zach Edey. Hopefully Ty Jerome's not too far behind him. We know we're waiting on Scottie Pippen, Brandon Clark for a little bit longer. I just don't know if those guys coming back is going to change dramatically what it's looking like right now. That's the thing that I'm worried about. I mean, last night, dude, they got out rebounded. Last night, 58 to 41
by a Boston team that's not supposed to be able to do that to you or anybody else.
It was Neemias Queta, Chris Boucher, and Luka Garza.
Who are those people? I mean, I know them because.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. It was rough. And, yeah, Zach Edey should be coming back soon, perhaps as soon as Saturday. But there's so much that seems wrong. I emphasize the word seems. I'm not in the locker room with them every night, right? But there's so much that seems wrong that the idea of a second-year center fixing everything or enough things seems wildly optimistic at this point. The Grizzlies are now 1-7 in their past 8 games, with the lone win in that stretch coming against the goofy Mavericks at home. And next up is at Cleveland on Saturday. Then it's at San Antonio on Tuesday. So unless the Grizzlies can beat a team that's at least 3 games above 500 for the first time this season, they will return home a week from tonight for a game against the Kings with a 4-11 record through their first 15 games. That wouldn't necessarily mean it's time to panic, but it would mean things clearly are not going well, at least not early in the first full season under Tomas Isolo, who seemingly continues to struggle to connect with his players. Here is, in part, what Isolo said after last night's 36-point loss in Boston. He said that the Celtics were the things that we aspire to be: faster than the other team, harder working, and better organized. And that's a tough pill to swallow, end quote. And obviously it is a tough pill to swallow. And what it also is on some level an admission that he's having a difficult time getting his team to play hard, which is obviously disappointing. Because on a night when you're down 5 rotation players, including your starting point guard and your starting center, about the only thing you have going for you is the ability to maybe play hard and outwork your opponent, which are 2 points of emphasis for the coach. Playing fast all the time, playing hard all the time, that's part of the reason he so strongly believes in the unusual substitution patterns that have been a constant topic of conversation so far this season. In theory, if you're coming into the game more frequently, playing 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time instead of 8, 9, 10 minutes at a time, you should be more fresh, and that should allow your team to play faster and harder than an opponent who is leaving its players on the court for longer periods of time. That at least is the idea behind it, right? Mm-hmm. But in this season so far, it has not worked that way. The Grizzlies rarely look like the harder working team. More often they looked confused and zapped of joy. And last night was, I think, probably the most troubling example of that. It's one thing to lose to the Thunder, and it's one thing to lose to the Knicks. it's quite another to get blown out by a mediocre Celtics team. So, given what you watched last night and everything you're reading and everything you're seeing, like, how concerned are you that there was no urgency, no energy, no chemistry? It didn't feel like just a basketball game that went the wrong way. It felt like a sign of a basketball season that is going the wrong way in a variety of ways.
Yeah, I looked at the rest of the schedule for November, and this was an optimistic approach, and this was assuming that they lost every game on this road trip, and I got to 8-13, which wouldn't be disastrous. Like, when you say that, it's like, okay, they could crawl out of that if they turned things around. But to your point, like, you're watching it and it's like, well, what makes you think it's going to turn around? I mean, the hope that some of those guys come back and just they gel real quick and it's able to take off from that point. But I don't know, man. Like, again, these past two games, it's over in the first quarter, and it doesn't look like a lot of fight to get back in it. I don't know. It does look off. It does look off.
Just everything looks really, really off. It is worth noting again, Zach Edey upgraded to doubtful yesterday. He has missed, obviously, the first 13 games of the season after off-season ankle surgery, but he should be back soon, perhaps as soon as Saturday in Cleveland. Clearly, he'll make things better, but remember, I don't ever want to move the goalpost. Like, you're sitting here talking about a 8-13 possibility that seems optimistic at this point.
Yes.
But keep in mind where we were roughly a month ago. Keep in mind where we were before this season got started. We weren't saying things like 8-13. I don't remember anybody saying anything like 8-13. The idea was, can you hover around 500 until Zach Edey and the other players start to get back? And I know right before the season started, we had another couple of wrenches thrown into the equation with Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr. But, like, the idea was to be better than this, in part because as long as you have John Jaren, you're supposed to be okay. Not great, but okay. Yeah. They've had John Jaren for every game this season except 2, and they have not been okay. So Zach Edey coming back clearly makes things better, but I don't know that he solves all of these issues, because at some point, and I guess this is the most important place to settle in today, at some point the coach has to connect with the players. It is not enough to just have smart ideas. The world is filled with people with great basketball ideas. The internet filled with people with great basketball ideas. Just having great ideas does not get the job done. Not at this level, not in that league. As a coach, the trick is having your good ideas and then getting your players to believe in them, to believe in your principles just as much as you do. They have to trust you. They have to believe in you. They have to respect you. And if you don't have those things, you can have all of the best film sessions in the world. But if your players are just rolling their eyes at you and not playing hard for you, then you are missing the most important thing you need to be a successful NBA coach. So something has to change, and fast. If not, all options are probably going to be on the table at some point. Because, again, it's one thing to be outmanned against good teams while you're missing rotation pieces. But it is quite another thing to have this much turmoil and lack of joy while the losses are stacking up. And not just competitive losses to contenders, but also blowout losses to remade rosters facing their own obstacles. Like, last night was bad. Hopefully Saturday is better. Tip is scheduled on Saturday for 4 p.m. Central. That game against the Cavs, it'll be in Rocket Arena in downtown Cleveland. I'll talk to Michael Wallace about all things Grizz. He'll join me next.
Grizz Nation, don't foul out on dinner plans. Hit Sticks Express in downtown Memphis instead. Fresh hibachi, steak, shrimp, sushi tacos, and yes, our legendary sake slushy to keep things cool. Order online with code STIX901, STIX 901, and knock 10% off your tab. It's the perfect pick and roll for game night. Sticks Express, fast, fresh, always a slam dunk. And hey, come see us at our Collierville location too.
The only thing better than Saturday Night Hoops is when it comes with an exclusive Grizz hoodie. Every Saturday this season, $60 gets you a Grizzlies ticket and a limited edition Grizzlies hoodie. 4 different hoodie designs dropping across 4 Saturday games. Not sold anywhere else. Don't miss your shot to collect all 4 designs. Grab your tickets and gear up now at grizzlies.com/Saturday.
We are so excited to be joined in studio now by Memphis Hustle head coach Rob Santacola. How excited are you for this to all get started?
Super excited. It's something that I think I've done for 20 plus years. So excited about that and just helping our group kind of progress. And it's been fun to watch.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dome Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dome Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, inside the Built Ford Tough studio. And on Thursdays in the second segment, I'm joined by Michael Wallace, senior editor, Grind City Media. He was in Boston last night. Grizzlies took a tough loss at TD Garden. He joins me right now. Michael Wallace, looks like you're still in Boston. Is that a correct assessment? That looks like a Boston hotel room.
Yes. Still in, man. You know your hotel rooms around this country, right? Yes, still in Boston today. Yep.
So last night was rough. We got news just before tip-off that Ja Morant would miss the game with what was described as right ankle soreness. We'll see his availability for Saturday, but it got away from him pretty quickly. They were down by as many as 38, lost by 36. What did you make of what you saw?
Man, it was a catastrophe. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where, I think Isolo, for really the first real time, showed his absolute frustration and disappointment in the effort and the lack of attention to detail. Again, they were without Ja Morant. We know the other guys that they've been without: Zach Edey, Brandon Clark, Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr. So, you're talking about 5 either guys who have started or are, top rotation players that they've been without. And, to go into Boston, both teams were playing on the second night of a back-to-back. So, neither team had really a rest excuse or a lack of rest excuse. But again, you're going into these games with one hand tied behind your back, literally, and you're still searching and you're trying to dictate what your system needs to be. You still have some resistance in terms of how players are embracing it and executing it. And then that's what happens. These teams have no mercy on you right now with the Grizzlies. That's 3 straight blowout losses in erratic fashion. When you talk about Oklahoma City, the Knicks, and now the Celtics, and it's really disturbing, man. It's a disturbing trend that's developing, and now you're starting to see some of the frustrations come to the forefront again.
Obviously, when you're down 4 point guards and are reduced to starting Vince Williams Jr. in place of Ja Morant, I don't care whether you're Tomas Isolo or Phil Jackson, things are going to be difficult. But to me, the issue wasn't the scoreboard, although obviously that's an issue, as much as just everything you see, the vibes, as people say, just seems off. Like there's a disconnect still. Ja told us 2 Fridays ago that there was clearly friction between the locker room and the coaching staff, or at least between him and the coaching staff. And I think most of us were hoping there could be a turning point somewhere in that weekend. And it doesn't appear that there's been any turning point. Here was Isolo again last night in the postgame answering your question and saying things like, we're not playing hard, we're not competing, we're not playing fast, we're not outworking our opponent. These are not things you're supposed to be still saying. They're things that are supposed to be getting better, but they're not. Why?
And, it's availability is one. Understanding is 2, right? It's not like these guys are around here not wanting to execute what Isolo is running, right? That's not the case. Isolo is not saying, okay, I'm going to force a square peg into a round hole because obviously I don't have the guys that I've built or want to establish this system around. I haven't had them out there on the floor. That's true too. A lot of things in this case, Gary, can be true, right? So the thing about it is, how do you go about fixing it? You want to have patience and say, okay, when Zach Edey gets back, when Ty Jerome gets back, those are 2 crucial pieces to this rotation that we're supposed to set up and support Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. We haven't seen those 2 guys yet this season. Edey could be on the trend on the way back as early as Saturday. If not by then Tuesday against the Spurs. Jerome is still a little bit of ways away in terms of that calf strain. You don't want to mess around with that. But you can't keep giving those things out as excuses. You still got to play these games. Use who you have. And I don't think the Grizzlies have maximized what they have available right now because of that lack of understanding or some disconnect in terms of embracing what's trying to be done. The rotations have been difficult. Having a rhythm and then coming out of games has been difficult. Trying to learn something new and changing what you're teaching every day can be difficult. So all of these things are true, and they just have to get either over this or have a real come to Jesus meeting and say, okay, let's eliminate some of this convoluted, stuff that we're dealing with. Let's simplify what we're doing, and let's just get back to playing basketball. Maybe they get to that point. We'll see.
As a former beat writer, I can't overstate how much I thought it was important for me to be on the road, in my case with the Tiger basketball team once upon a time, because you can just pick up on things that you can't pick up on during a game, even in a locker room or during press conferences. Like being at a shoot around and seeing who's laughing and who's not, who's joking around, who are they joking around with? Hey, in the hotel lobby, who's sitting next to so-and-so? At the hotel bar, who's getting a drink and who's not? You just see a lot of stuff on planes, in airports. And so I set that up that way to ask you, as one of the few media members who actually travel with this team consistently, what does it look like off the court? We only see what they show us. You see things that aren't intended for public consumption. I'm not asking you to tell secrets, but what does it look like just away from the basketball court with this roster right now?
Yeah, I don't see, I see concern. I don't see alarm. I don't see just overwhelming frustration like this has to stop. I don't see, and this is just what's available for the public, right? I won't go into, what goes on the plane and what goes on in spaces where, me being internal brand media, I get access to because of my job. That's not what I report on. What I report on is what the public can see, right? From that standpoint. And what I try to share is what the public can see. But even from that, if you're on the road, if you're in Isolo's post-game press conference yesterday, you saw clearly, okay, this guy's coming to the podium and he's got a chip on his shoulder and he wants to unload some things that he's feeling. And that's out of character for him because he's priding himself on not being the emotional overreactor. But at a certain point, it builds up. You see, how he walks through the hallways either before or after his availabilities and, what his body mannerisms are. You go into the locker room and you see, okay, who's taking this seriously? Who's in here joking about something that had nothing to do with getting blown out by 30? And who's in here, kind of solemn and have their heads down? Who's willing to come talk to the media to face the music and who's willing to go hide? You know what I mean? And from that standpoint. So you do see a lot of these things right now. And the thing about the Grizzlies is that this team has been under the gun so long for so many injuries and so many different things and so many changes that do you see guys that are just fed up? And sometimes I've been in locker rooms. I've been around teams that have gotten completely fed up. I've been in locker rooms where players have gotten into fights. I've been in coaching scrums where coaches have thrown stuff at in the media rooms and all of these kind of things. And I'm not seeing that. I'm not saying I want to see that. That's not necessarily professional, but something's got to give if you have expectations to get to a certain point in this season. And right now we're only 13 in, and it's troubling, honestly.
Let's talk about Ja Morant. He obviously didn't play last night, and buddy, they certainly missed him. But through 11 games, 13 for the team, 11 for him, he has struggled. The shooting percentage is down inside the arc from outside the arc. Basically, every statistical category is down relative to where we were used to it being when he was healthy and available. Some of this is the state of the roster. He is dribbling into help defenders more than anybody else in the NBA, and that leads to frustration and also not so great percentages. So some of this could just be fixed with a healthy Zach Edey and a healthy Ty Jerome and a better roster in general. But still, this is a talking point among national media members in the NBA right now. Like, you could just Google what's wrong with Ja Morant and a whole bunch of stuff pops up. What is your assessment of what's going on with Ja Morant?
I can tell you this much. He's grown a lot. Like, today is Thursday, right? So now we're 2 Fridays removed from, the locker room incident where it just went wrong, right? So I see him trying to be more composed in his locker room and his availabilities with the media. The other night in New York, he ended his session by warding off what he thought was another bait question, when asked about his effort and all of those kind of things. But he didn't do it in terms of just being, really, really mean-spirited about it. I think what Ja is coming to realize is that, listen, I'm trying to work through this. It's a struggle. I didn't have the preseason. I thought that I could just come in and inflict my will and make us a better team because I'm Ja Morant. But I'm working against not only my body, but I'm also working against a system that I'm still struggling to kind of understand. And although I'm talented enough to overcome and still get 20 and 10 every night, it's coming at the cost of turnovers. It's coming at the cost of defenses loading up on me. And now I'm playing with teammates that I've never had to play before in key situations. So those are some real issues. Those are some real reality type things that Ja Morant is dealing with. Has he always handled it well? No, not necessarily. I think somewhere Isolo has to meet Ja and Jaren where they are, more so than them trying to understand exactly what he is and what he wants. The thing that I listen to, Gary, that I say, okay, something has to give here, is when Isolo talks, he talks about, okay, I'm building something for the long term. I'm building something that's going to come into fruition. Maybe it takes months, maybe it takes years. Whereas Ja and Jaren are like, we're in the middle of our prime right now. Like, we're not here for, I hear rebuild and reload with Isolo, and I'm hearing right now and what's going on right now for some of the players. And that line of communication has to come together. Front office has to broker that, and it has to continue to align, and right now it's not aligned.
Obviously, it gets more difficult going forward. At Cleveland on Saturday, at San Antonio the following Tuesday. The schedule doesn't really lighten up anytime soon. So, like, if you don't get on the same page or get things fixed very, very quickly, and these are hard places to get them fixed, we're talking about you come back here still stuck on 4 wins for a game a week from tonight from Sacramento. I know it would still be early, but there's a realistic possibility they're 4-11 through their first 15 games.
And you know what, I said this too last week. I said, when they were coming off of that stretch where the 4-game losing streak happened and then they got the win over Dallas, I said, you know what, the Grizzlies can play these next 10 games and go 1-9 and 2-8, and you actually can be a better team and having understood a lot more, but the record and the schedule won't allow you to show the results that you want to have. Certainly, I don't think improvement is getting beat by 25 and 30 points a night, which has happened the last 2 games. But this schedule is unrelenting. It is relentless when it comes to the competition that you're facing right now. So it's not going to be a lot of easy ways to prove that you have the results that you want. And what can be sort of overwhelming, and I can imagine this because I cover this team, I care about this team, I follow it, I try to give them the insight. But even as a fan, just when you're saying all the encouraging things and you're seeing Zach Edey on the comeback, you also get maybe Ja Morant is dealing with some ankle issues now. So it's like as soon as you gauge, and gear up for, okay, we're getting a step closer to being whole, then you have some other issues. So Ja Morant has the ankle now. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, his elbow situation might not give him a chance to get right back out there. We'll see where that goes. Although the cry from the public is, hey, get Cedric Howard out there more and more and more. So this might be an opportunity where a window opens for Cedric Howard to emerge as a starter if KCP isn't able to move forward. So it's a lot of attrition going on right now that's also impacting this team's ability to get going.
Last thing before I get you out of here, I think some people assume second night of a back-to-back, you've got an ankle issue. Sure, you missed that game. Be back Saturday for Cleveland. Do we know how serious Ja's ankle issue is? Are we sure he's going to play in a couple of nights in downtown Cleveland?
Well, you have, so this is a quirk in the system and the schedule right now. After playing a back-to-back, you get actually 2 days off in Boston. The Grizzlies are still here today. There's a lockout day today coming off of back-to-back. They practice tomorrow here in Boston and then fly to Cleveland. So theoretically, if it's just a minor, hey, let's not push him through something. Ja finished the game. He played 30-plus minutes, right? So it wasn't anything that took him out of the game. I saw him. I was right beside him in the locker room afterwards. I didn't notice him getting anything with the ankle. I did notice him getting a little bit of treatment on the knee. So we'll see. I mean, it's just, bumps and bruises through the season. You don't want to push him on the second night of a back-to-back if you don't have to. So from that, I would say I expect him to be available Saturday, but I don't know the extent of how that ankle is right now. I'll find out a lot more tomorrow when they get to practice, and we'll see from there.
That is Michael Wallace, senior editor of Grind City Media in Boston last night, still there today. He was in the locker room getting post-game comments from Jalen Wells, from Vince Williams, asking Tomas Isolo the post-game questions. I know there's not a lot of local media on the road with the Grizzlies, so we appreciate your hard work last night. Thank you for getting up with me this morning, and I'll see you again real soon.
Hey, and I'll say this too, man, with all due respect. I've been on that side too, Gary. You've been on that side for a long time, man. Hey, listen, daily Memphian leadership, commercial appeal leadership, get your guys on the road to cover this team, man. Those guys want to be here. They need to tell these stories. This is their beats, and it's important. It's important if you want. I mean, it's only one professional team in the whole NBA, in the whole state. It's the Grizzlies, man. And when they're good, they need to be covered. When they're going through this, they need to be covered. Figure out a way to get your guys on the road. Both of those guys are remarkable men. And I love covering this team with them.
I co-sign all of that. Thank you for saying it, and I'll see you when you get back in town. Bye-bye.
Absolutely.
That's Michael Wallace, Grind City Media. When I was a beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, I traveled every game. I mean, it was Memphis at East Carolina, Memphis at Villanova, Memphis at you name it. I was there. Off-season, trips to Mexico. Like my first ever trip to Cancun was not on some spring break. It was with the Tiger basketball team. And so it's a little bit of a sign of the times with local journalism. Like, times are tough. Like, the Daily Memphian ain't out there, making $1 billion.
Yep.
Times are tough, and I get all that. But there's real value to being on the road with the team that you cover. We look to Drew Hill and DeMichael Cole as real sources on this team, in addition to Michael Wallace. And it's obvious sometimes that they're not on the road with the team, right? And it doesn't mean they can't do their jobs from home, but they do them better if they were there. And I'm glad Michael took a moment to say that. On the coaching stuff, have I ever talked to you about this Conan O'Brien story I read about one time after he lost the Tonight Show?
I'm not sure.
I think so. I think I've probably told it 7 times, if we're being honest. But it's just something that popped into my head as I was watching post-game press conference stuff last night, because Isolo is clearly a sharp guy, right? He just is. I came in here after that dinner thing we had last month, I guess it was, and sort of explained, like, I sit there, talk to the guy for an hour and a half. He's just like a really sharp guy. And like, he is. That's still true today, regardless of what the record is. He's a smart, sharp, thoughtful, interesting guy. And there he was last night, once again being thoughtful and I think candid, explaining that, yes, he's disappointed in the effort that he's getting. If you're a Grizzlies fan and you watched that game last night, I bet you were disappointed with the effort that you saw. So when it's your job, quite literally your job, to get a better effort out of these players, you'd walk into that post game frustrated. And so Michael Wallace asked him about it, and he has a 2-minute answer that is totally sensible, right? And this is something I've just sort of picked up on. Almost every time he's asked a question, his answer is sensible. Even if you disagree with where he lands, he's not just up there answering questions with word salads that don't hold up to scrutiny. We see this all the time with politicians. We see this all the time with coaches, frankly. But with him, I don't agree with everything he says, but I never think he sounds like he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's got an explanation for everything he does. And so there he was last night, once again, talking about part of our core is like outworking people, being better organized, outpacing people. Now, it's hard to be better organized when you're down 4 point guards. We can all agree with that. But you should still be able to outwork people and outpace people if part of the way you're handling your rotations is designed to increase the likelihood of that, right? So he's frustrated, and he expresses that again last night. It's his 13th game as the full-time head coach. And he's once again expressing disappointment that it's not going the way it's intended to go in his head. And it sort of reminded me, I read this story after Conan O'Brien lost the Tonight Show. And sort of the sentiment of the story was that they came to him a bunch of times and said, hey, what you're doing, your approach is not working. You're not connecting with the audience at 10:30 Central. You used to do a show at 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern, and that show connected with that audience. But we have a lot of data that shows that the audience at 10:30 Central, that's mostly moms and dads. You know, after putting kids to bed, laying down and turning on either you or somebody else. But that's what that is. At 11:30, it's a younger crowd, college kids. Mom and dad are asleep by now. So the show you used to do, it worked with those people. But the show you're trying to do now, which is that show, it's not working with these people. You're not connecting with this audience. And so it doesn't matter how good of a show you're doing, how funny you are. If you're not connecting with the people you need to connect with, it won't work. He was like, but I'm doing it my way. I know what I'm doing. I've had success before. I've watched this work before. You watched it work before at 11:30 Central. You have never seen it work at 10:30 Central. Just because it worked with that audience doesn't mean it will work with this audience. He was stubborn with it, continued to do the show he wanted to do, the way he wanted to do it, and ultimately lost it very quickly, right back to Jay Leno. He never really connected. He had good ideas. He had proof of concept that these good ideas had worked and connected with a different audience. But with the audience he needed to connect with in that moment, he couldn't get it right, and he never budged in any meaningful way, and it cost him that job. Arguably the most desired late-night job in television. And there's a little bit of that going on here. You can probably pick up on the comparison. We know that his approach worked in Europe, in Germany, in Paris. We know that it worked with a different roster, with different best players. Every basketball team's got best players. I don't know whose his were in Paris, but they were somebody, and it clearly connected with them, and it worked. But this is a different audience, and it's not working right now. And you've either got to figure out a way to make it work, or you have to start adjusting in real ways. And I know that he has already adjusted in some ways, allowing Ja to play more minutes to open a game. I know he's adjusted in some ways. But I thought Michael Wallace said something interesting there. Said it's probably important on some level for Islo to meet Ja and Jaren where they are. I am completely understanding of the idea of I'm going to try to pull them my direction because I believe in what I'm doing. That was fine as a plan A, but it's not working. they haven't come your direction. It doesn't look good, and none of the data connected to it is positive. They're not coming your direction. And this thing is still very early. But again, barring a surprise, they're going to come back home for a game a week from tonight with a 4-11 record. We knew, given the injuries, it probably wasn't going to be great, but it was not supposed to be this bad either. And so what does Michael Wallace mean by you need to meet them where they're at, perhaps? Well, that means you've got to start budging on some of your own principles. You just have to, because you can be strong and principled, but eventually if you don't get those guys to come your way, you'll just be unemployed and strong and principled. You'll have a great story about how if you could have just got Ja Morant to listen to you, everything would have been fine. And you can tell that story for the rest of your life. But that will be the story you're telling, because there is no scenario where you can get this thing to a place good enough to where you keep your job long term if you don't get these two guys on board with you. At the very least, those two guys. You have to get them on board with you, or you have to meet them in the middle. You have to get them believing in what they're doing on the court again, whether it's what you want them to do or not. I know this isn't something Rick Carlisle might have to do, or Eric Spoelstra might have to do, or Pop needed to do, because when you have the credibility in this league and the success in this league attached to you, and in many ways, or in some cases at least, unwavering front office, you can stand up and give it time. But I don't know that any of that stuff is true in this situation right now. And if it keeps sliding the wrong direction, not just in terms of stacking losses, but stacking losses while the two franchise players look miserable, don't seem to be enjoying what they're doing, that's a bad combination that can lead to all sorts of bad stuff. So we're in really interesting times. I didn't expect to be here after 13 games.
No, me either.
I didn't expect to be here after 13 games, but we will reach a point pretty quickly, I think, where if it doesn't look and sound and actually is better, then you got to start having real conversations, real tough conversations about things, because what's happening right now is not working. And it doesn't look like the type of thing a second-year center is going to be able to fix by himself, whether he returns Saturday, Tuesday, or a week from today. Hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. That is the expectation. Most believe Zach Edey will come back on this road trip, either Saturday or Tuesday, but that doesn't look like the type of thing that's going to fix everything that's ailing this franchise right now. And if we don't start addressing those things in one manner or another, then we're going to be having a lot of the same conversations over and over and over again. We come back, turn our attention elsewhere in the NBA. Not everybody got blown out by 36 last night, but Nikola Jokic put 55 on the Clippers. My God, he was great. Steph Curry was wonderful as well. Luka Doncic was asked for the first time publicly for his thoughts on Nico Harrison getting fired in Dallas. I'll tell you what he said. We'll do that next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
The Grizzlies are the one thing everyone in the family can agree on. So join us every Sunday this season for Sunday Family Fun Days. It's a steal at just $35 and includes a ticket to the game, a $10 food voucher, post-game free throws on the court, and a meet and greet with mascot Grizz. Space is limited, so grab your tickets now for this unique experience your family won't soon forget. Go to grizzlies.com/Sunday and have a fun day.
check this out. Last season in the NBA, there were 139 40-point games. We're like 5 days in, 6 days in, and we have had 16 already. It is on pace for over 300 40-point games.
Holy crap.
Sheesh. That would be the pace.
Yeah.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
You know, I don't usually start getting sick like this until February. It's coming early this year.
Yeah.
I don't, and I got all my vaccines. I got my flu and my pneumonia and every other vaccine.
You got sick right afterwards.
I walked right into the doctor's office. I said, load me up with all the vaccines. Stick all your needles in me.
Yeah.
And now I'm sick.
I wonder if those things are related.
Oh, they're going to have fun with that over at Outkick, I'm certain.
I was going to say.
They're going to have this one clipped by noon. I'm just, maybe if I wore a coat when it's cold, that would help.
Probably so.
Maybe if I wore a coat when it was cold, that would help. Luka Doncic last night, Lakers got blasted. But he still met with the media. And afterward, because it was the first time he'd been speaking publicly since Nico Harrison been fired by the Dallas Mavericks, he was asked for his thoughts on the general manager change at his old franchise, a general manager change that is tied directly to the fact that Nico Harrison stupidly traded Luka Doncic right in the middle of his prime and of his career. The Mavericks now stink, and Luka is amazing, helping the Lakers be better than most people anticipated early in this season. Luka Doncic asked about it. Here's what he said. The city of Dallas, the fans, the players, they'll always have a special place in my heart. I thought I was going to stay there forever, but I didn't. So that will always be a special place for me. I will always call it home. But right now, I'm focused on the Lakers and trying to move on. But obviously, always there will be a part of me there, but just trying to move on and focus on what I'm doing here. He got a follow-up. They were trying to pin him down. He said, I'm just focused on the Lakers. I have no further comments. He just took the high road. It'd be tempting to kick a man while he's down, throw dirt on his grave.
Yeah, but he didn't really have to.
You don't have to. Everybody else is doing it. You don't have to.
Right.
You don't have to be the guy aiming the gun at somebody if you got a whole world aiming the gun at them.
Mm-hmm.
You can just sit back with your hands behind your back and let everybody else do the shooting, right? Perhaps that's a poor analogy, but you get the point. And so I think Luka handled that the right way. But deep down, he must love this. He must be laughing like crazy. That guy shipped you out of the place you wanted to be, out of nowhere, and thought he was going to be on the right end of it.
Yeah, I saw a hilarious tweet, by the way. It was like Nico changed his bio to unemployed, and some Mavs fan quoted it and goes, "This dude's out here like making jokes. Meanwhile, he ruined my life."
Yeah,
Damn.
I mean, he took your best player and everybody's favorite player and moved him in a way that seemed quite literally unbelievable. And so unbelievable that people didn't believe it, even though it came from a verified NBA insider. The leading newsbreaker in the sport tweeted it. I mean, we just repeat anything that Shams tweets. Shams could be like, if Shams right now tweeted anything, we would just accept it as fact and start talking about it. But when he tweeted that, we were like, no way, that's not real. That can't be right. It was so ridiculous that people didn't even believe it. Even some of the Lakers players who were in a group text with Anthony Davis did not believe it. They thought Shams had been hacked. That's where we were. And Nico Harrison thought, ha, ha, ha. Now watch as I build this defensive-minded championship team in Dallas. Nope. You got a disaster in Dallas. You got lucky to get Cooper flagged, but you still got a disaster in Dallas. And Luka is probably going to win a championship or two, or who knows how many, in Los Angeles someday. Now everybody's saying the next thing that's got to happen in Dallas is Anthony Davis. Can you imagine you trade Luka Doncic in part to get Anthony Davis, and less than a year later you're like, well, I guess now we got to move Anthony Davis, as a franchise.
Yeah, because and that was the whole thing that was so weird about it is it was like, you trade Luka because you think you're going to win a championship for some reason. You think because you're about to win a championship right now by bringing in Anthony. At least that's what he said. I mean,
he thought he had a 3 to 4 year window to win a championship with a defensive-minded team.
Yeah.
In reality, you were relying on an older and similarly unreliable basketball player. If part of the reason you didn't love Luka is because he was unavailable too often, well, Anthony Davis, that's a story of his career as well. And here he is again, been unavailable, and looks big, like not good big, if you've seen recent pictures of him. So you got, you trade Luka because he's not available enough and he's heavy. Anthony Davis is literally not available right now and heavy. You're fired, and now the franchise is trying to move off of Anthony Davis. They're just going to tear the whole thing down and rebuild around
Cooper Flag. I guess you have to, yeah. Get another lottery pick in there. I mean, that seems like the only way out of this.
The Klay Thompson thing's a mess, and Kyrie's hurt.
Right, and you'll get Kyrie back, but that's not going to change anything this season. Yeah, man, that's a brutal situation. I'd be sick if I was a Mavs fan.
Just the worst. Yeah. Just the worst.
I mean, they got championships over the past couple decades.
You let one dude convince an ownership group to do something that did irreparable harm to your franchise. And it's the one person on the planet who would have done it. Nobody else would have done it. Literally, maybe not. Just about anybody else in the world could have been the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks last year. And nobody would have done this except for the guy who happened to be the general manager for the Dallas Mavericks. And now, less than a year later, you have fired him because of what he did. This is an all-timer.
Yep.
That's an all-time front office story. If you ever start feeling bad about your basketball team, just be glad that Nico Harrison was never a part of it.
Number 2.
Nikola Jokic. Oh, he went big last night. 55 points in a 130-116 victory over the Clippers. Had 25 in the first quarter and barely played in the fourth. And still got 55 points, ties a season high for points in a game in the NBA this season. And just reminds everybody that though Steph is still amazing, because he got 46 last night against Wemby, and Wemby's coming, if not already here. As of this moment, November 13th, 2025, best player in the world is still that guy. It's still the starting center for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, we're going to look back years from now, and it's going to be how we look back at LeBron and say, LeBron should have won more MVPs. We're going to look back and say, Jokic should have won more MVPs. That's crazy.
He should maybe retire with 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And he's got 3 now, and should probably have 4 for sure. And you could reasonably argue 5. He's at least been the best player in the world for 5 or 6 different seasons.
It's just so wild, too, because obviously
whether he's the MVP or not, he's been the best player in the world for at least 5-6 seasons.
It's just wild, too. You could take someone who doesn't watch the NBA and do a lineup of just 100 NBA players and put him in it and say, okay, I want you to pick out which one is a 3-time MVP. And I bet they would get through 80 guys at least before they got to him. You know what I mean?
Well,
he just doesn't look like, you know what I mean? He doesn't.
Stereotypes are a real thing.
That makes me happy. I'm saying it. I like that.
You like that somebody that looks like you is the best basketball player in the world.
He's a 7-footer. He doesn't look like me. But I'm saying, he likes to, drink beer and, he doesn't have 6-pack abs.
He does not have 6-pack abs. He does not look like LeBron James. Okay? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
I understand. Let me help you then.
Yes.
He does not look like LeBron James. I hear what you're saying. Have you ever seen the clip with Mike Miller talking about him? Like it just goes, it's just I just bump into it all the time.
Because Mike played with him when he was a rookie or second-year player?
Yeah, Mike tells a story. He got bought out somewhere and then signed with Denver. Like, the end of Mike's career was like, what contender needs a shooter? Let's go get Mike Miller. I think I told you this before. I was flying home with Mike from I was coming from Las Vegas, and he was coming, I think, from back home, maybe. I think he was supposed to be out in Vegas and had to go home for maybe a funeral. And I was out in Vegas, and I get a text from one of his buddies, and they're like, GP, when are you going home back to Memphis? And I was like, Saturday or Sunday, whenever it was. And they were like, can you take Mike's golf clubs? They're here. Can you just take Mike's golf clubs back home? And I was like, I guess so. I'll just check them. And so, like, somebody, I don't remember how I got them, but like somebody brought Mike Miller's golf clubs to me in Las Vegas, and then I took them to the airport.
Nice set of clubs, I would assume.
Yeah, the best.
The best.
So, hilariously, we had like a layover in Salt Lake City or Minneapolis or something like that. So I was going Las Vegas to, like, let's just call it Minneapolis. Let's call it Salt Lake City. It's probably Salt Lake City. Las Vegas to Salt Lake City, and then Salt Lake City to Memphis. Get to Salt Lake City, guess who's on my flight? Mike Miller, sitting right next to me. So we sit down, and I'm like, yo, man, I got your golf clubs. He's like, how do you got my golf clubs? That's like a long story. Anyway, this is the point. It was when he was a free agent, and I want to say it was LeBron and I know it was. It was LeBron and Kevin Durant. I can't remember. You'd have to look up the year. Feels like LeBron was trying to pull him wherever they were, and Kevin was trying to pull him wherever he was. And I just remember like the whole flight, he was just dealing with constant text messages. And when we landed, it was just like, here's LeBron again, here's KD again. Like they were really working him hard. And so that was the end of his career, was just getting pulled in different directions because everybody thinks they're one shooter away, one championship piece away, and here's a guy who's got rings and blah, 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 blah. So that's among the reason he ends up at Denver at some point, I guess. He's supposed to add shooting to a team that needs shooting. Anyway, there's that clip that goes around, and they're like, what did you think the first time you saw Nikola Jokic? He's like, I thought he was the best player in the world. And it's like, what? Because it's a weird thing to say, because he's a second-round pick, and the first time you saw him was right after he was a second-round pick. And Mike's like, no, he had a weird body, but I told them in Denver, I was like, you've got something special here. Just the way, just all the other stuff, the way he saw the game, the way he passed the ball, just the way his hands, just everything. He's like, I knew he was special immediately, which is a wild thing because nobody else knew that. Nobody else saw it. And yet, all these years later, he will go down in history as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. I know we have GOAT conversations and typically limit them to Michael and LeBron and maybe Kareem. He'll never be a part of that, I don't think. But he's going to be a part of the next tier.
We'll see.
Like, he's going to be a part of the next tier, whatever the next tier of people that we talk about are. Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell. Wherever you have him on your list, he's going to be a part of that conversation. And he put 55 on the Clippers last night. 25 in the first quarter, 55 in the game. Awesome as ever. Tying Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for most points in a game this season. Also 55.
Number 3.
Rest in peace to the Penny. Kyra was good with this graphic. That could have been bad.
Yes, good job.
Good
Kyra.
job. Yeah.
Yep.
That
the
two
stands out.
Rest in peace. Yeah, that "the" is very important because if it just was like, that could be scary, right? And you got a whole audience sitting here waiting for me to. They're looking at the graphic.
Why would that be number 3?
And they're like, Jesus Christ, shut up about Jokic and get to Penny. What happened? Penny Hardaway is fine. All right? Penny Hardaway is fine. But the actual Penny, the coin, RIP. We printed the last one, made the last one yesterday in Philadelphia. And we will never make a penny again. That's what they're telling us.
Sad. It's a sad day.
The best day. I hate pennies.
as someone who
I will give you all of my pennies.
Okay, I'll gladly take them.
If I ever find a penny, I'll just give it to you.
As someone who rolls their coins and takes them to the bank and gets exchanged for cash. Although I went to the bank the other day and they told me they don't do that anymore. I was like, what are you talking about? You don't do it anymore. And then I went to another bank and they did it.
Banks can't give you money anymore?
Like I brought like a bunch of rolls of coins and like the lady was like at the one bank was like, we don't do that. And I went to another bank, the same company that I'm a customer of, and they were like, okay.
Banks are wild.
I was like, what the heck? What do you mean you don't do that?
There's all sorts of things.
It's money.
Like banks are wild. I don't know how I feel about banks sometimes.
Banks are weird. But anyways.
Like I go to a bank and I make a deposit, right? I might get a check from something, and it's a sizable deposit. And I'll be like, oh, I need to deposit this money. And they'll be like, okay, we're going to hold it for 70 days. It's an exaggeration, but I'm like, why are you holding my money? This is my money.
Yeah.
Shouldn't I be able to get it today?
You'd think so.
Yeah, like I'm putting it in your bank, and if I want to have access to it, I should be able to have access to it today. They're like, nah, it's got to clear for 4 days. I'm like, can't you just trust me? I've been banking with you for 30 years. Can't you just trust me at this point?
Yeah. So the penny, it's got a special place. I mean, dude, I always pick a penny up off the ground when it's face up. That's superstitious. It's lucky penny.
You think that your life will change in any way because you happen to stumble into a piece of currency whose Abraham Lincoln's face is looking at you?
I don't know, but I would assume that it's worked at some point. Yeah, you don't know that. I mean, I've had good luck on certain days that I've picked up a lucky penny.
No, sometimes.
Or it's been a better day than others.
Sometimes good things happen to you, and sometimes bad things happen to you, and that is life.
Yeah. But I mean, putting money in the piggy bank, as a kid, putting money in the piggy bank, that's fun.
You're not a kid anymore.
But I have kids who like putting money in the piggy bank.
Yeah, I mean, I give my pennies to my kids if they want them. I think even my kids are over pennies. I feel like my kids are even over pennies. They just get in the way.
Yeah.
Like if I ever happen to get pennies back, I throw them in the little thing at the convenience store, like the little penny thing where it's like, need a penny, take a penny, leave a penny. I'm always just leaving pennies.
Also, another thing.
I want other people to have my pennies.
Like we go do kid stuff. We go to the zoo. We go to the Botanic Garden, stuff like that. There's always like fountains that you want to throw. The kids always.
Okay, well, let me. It sounds like you're worried you're never going to see a penny again. Do you know how many pennies there are in this world?
Billions.
Guess.
2 billion.
You're so wrong.
How many?
According to the story I read, there are about 250 billion pennies.
Damn.
In the world. 250 billion. Why
half of them just under people's couches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or under the seats of their cars.
They're all under your car mats.
Yeah.
250 billion pennies. Who needs those?
You know what I always thought was unique about the penny too is this was like a fun, like, oh, did you know this? Where it's the front of it's Abraham Lincoln's face, and then you flip it over to the back of it, and it's the Lincoln Memorial. And if you look like real closely, you can see the Abraham Lincoln statue inside the Lincoln Memorial.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
Wow.
And that was always a cool, like, dude, did you know this?
Look at you.
Penny. That was just a fun little thing to tell people. Now you don't get to do that anymore.
Bennett, there are 250 billion pennies. You can do that as long as you want.
Save your pennies.
Save your pennies. On the day you expire, there will still be billions of pennies floating around. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good.
You don't have to worry about this.
That's good. I mean, I do worry for the nickel. Like you can't use pennies. Why would you be able to use nickels?
This is how it works. The first thing they do is take your pennies. You know what they're coming for next? Your nickels.
Can you?
I don't care. Take a nickel.
Can you name who is on each of like the main coins all the way up through $1?
Of course.
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln's on the penny. Andrew Jackson's on the nickel.
That is not Andrew Jackson.
It's Andrew Wiggins.
No, it'd be Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson.
Okay, so you already messed up.
Yeah, and then the quarter.
No, you missed the dime.
The dime.
The
dime is John F. Kennedy.
That would be 50-cent piece, which are rare. You don't find those as often. The dime is Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah.
The quarter, of course,
is George Washington.
Yeah. And then how about the dollar? The half dollar is JFK, which I don't think they make those anymore. Those are rare finds these days.
So what are you asking me now?
What's on the dollar? It's gold. It's a gold coin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. This was within the past 2 decades that we made these. And I don't know if they still make these either.
What's on the dollar coin?
It's not a president.
Probably, I'm going to go with.
Come on. Anything.
Mickey Mantle.
Sacagawea.
Oh, well, good for him.
Mm-hmm. Her. Yeah. Assisted with the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Yeah, sure.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I paid attention to that part in school. What happened? What happened to her? Tell me what happened to her. You were the history major. You brought her up. Tell me what happened to her, Bennett.
She assisted in the Lewis and Clark expedition.
How so? She was like in charge of the GPS?
Navigation. They didn't have GPS back then.
Man, how much easier would that have been if they had like an iPhone?
Hold on. Someone's like questioning what I'm saying in the chat. Who's
what are you saying?
On the dime?
Bennett, you can't get into an argument
It
with
is FDR.
You can't argue with the chat. The chat's ridiculous.
It is FDR on the dime. I used to think it was my papaw. It looks just like him.
It could have been your papaw.
Yeah, I used to think my papaw was on the dime.
You know how much it costs to make a penny? 3 cents.
Well, that makes no sense.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It like actually costs 3 times the amount of a penny to make a penny.
I think it costs more to make a nickel too.
Yeah, it cost. I read all this. It cost to make a nickel. Cost about 10 cents to make a nickel. So why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Can't everybody just tap their phones? Haven't we got to a point where you can just tap your phone? Why do we need pennies if we can just tap our phone? I'm a phone tapper now.
I hate that.
You don't like to tap your phone?
No.
Why?
No, I hate.
Let me guess. You're scared of something.
Yeah.
What are you scared of this time?
Well, I only go inside the gas station and pay with cash.
Which is insanity to me.
I've never once in my life paid with a credit card at the pump for gasoline ever. Never, ever.
Yeah, well, that's all fun and games till you get a gun in your back.
Well, it's
walking out of a MAPCO.
You don't carry cash?
None, literally none. Zero. No, that's not true. That's not true.
On me.
That's not true. I have ones that I keep in my wallet for the Delta Sky Club.
Yeah, you want the tip money, obviously.
Have to have tip money.
You got to have tip money.
I carry tip money. That is it. I do not like the idea that I'm walking. The idea, like to all you carjackers out there, know that you ain't getting nothing. I mean, you can have everything I got, but I won't have much on me. The idea that I'm walking around with like $100.
Yeah,
never.
No, it's weird. Like when you
I go into a convenience store, and if I'm going to get a Diet Dr. Pepper, and it's $1.89 or whatever, I swipe a card. I tap my phone. I'm a phone tapper.
Like it's weird. Like here in this arena, it's cashless, right? So you got to pay with card for everything, or Apple, or whatever you use.
You're leaving real money on the table.
But
you could have a credit card with points, and every time you get gas, you're getting points. Every time you get anything, you're getting points, and you can take your beautiful family.
I get points from other stuff.
But every actual dollar you just spend in cash is a dollar that you could have benefited from in some way. You're leaving real money on the table.
Fair enough. The thing that's weird now, in this new day and age, this cashless day and age, is like you used to be able to go to, like, if you went to like a, like I'm trying to think of so we went to like the crafts fair. It was the Japan festival at the Botanic Garden. Okay. There's a bunch of vendors and stuff like that, and food vendors and people selling stuff and stuff like that, and used to things like that. It's like, well, you maybe they have like a card swipe, but mostly you're just paying with cash. Now it's just like, here's my list of Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all that stuff, and you can just scan the QR code. That's like the new day and age. Every
once in a while, we'll wind up in a baseball tournament where they only take cash to get in. Disaster. I don't know what to do. I'm just standing there. I'm like, it's 2025. Can I
cash only is tough. You can't survive like that.
Nothing should be cash only anymore unless you are intentionally money laundering. Unless you're running that kind of business. But like, I shouldn't have to have,
or like a yard sale.
Whatever. I shouldn't have to have cash to get in to see my kid play baseball. All right. I don't carry cash with me. It's 2025. I can just tap my phone to anything in America and just get stuff. I shouldn't have to have cash just to watch an 8-year-old baseball game, right?
Right.
I'm glad the pennies are gone. I'm ready for the nickels to be gone too. I don't need any of this.
Damn, man.
I don't need any coins. As long as I can tap my phone, that's all I need to do.
I like coins. It's Americana.
I don't need it.
It's Americana.
Things change, Bennett. You used to wake up every morning and grab a newspaper out of your driveway and open it up. That would seem silly. Imagine in 2025 a man driving around throwing a piece of paper into your driveway. We used to do that.
Yeah.
All right? We stopped.
That's also Americana.
It made no sense anymore. It was like this is not the right way to do this anymore. I feel the same way about coins.
Okay.
I don't need them. I'm not out. It's not number one on my list of things to get rid of in this world, but it is on the list.
Okay.
I don't need them. Farewell.
Rest in peace to the penny.
To the penny.
Yeah.
To the penny.
Yeah.
We'll see you. We'll see you around, buddy.
Number 4.
Cy Young Awards were delivered last night to Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh and Tarek Skubal in Detroit. The two favorites won it. For Skeens, it's his first. For Skubal, it's his second. And we talked about this yesterday, so I'll be quick on it. It was just interesting. Like, they're both congratulated, and then they're both asked about their futures because they both happen to play for franchises that don't seem capable of affording them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're a Detroit fan last night and you're a Pirates fan last night, you just watched one of your players, perhaps your favorite player, win a big, big award. And you know that that person, or at least you strongly believe that person, has no chance of retiring in your uniform because your franchise has shown no willingness to pay the type of money it's going to take to keep them in your uniform. So you will probably watch, if you're a Tigers fan, watch your guy go be a Met or something. And if you're a Pirates fan, watch your guy go be a Yankee or something. Like Skeens even had to downplay last night the idea that he has a desire to play for the Yankees. He was like, I'm happy in Pittsburgh and blah, 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 blah. But like that was a point of the conversation. So we'll see if either franchise moves off of these Cy Young Award winners this offseason. The Pirates have already said they will not, but it sounds like the Tigers might. It sounds like Skubal might have pitched his last game in a Detroit uniform, and among the leaders to maybe put together a package to go get him would be the New York Mets, because when you have a $330 million payroll,
got to spend it somewhere, man.
You can probably worth investing in a Skubal so that you don't end up starting AAA pitchers as the Reds are passing you in the standings as the regular season comes to a close. Congratulations to the young pitchers.
Number 5.
Big game tonight down in Tuscaloosa. We've had 7 top 25 matchups so far this college basketball season. 4 of them have been top 15 matchups. Tonight, we get our first top 10. It is Purdue and Alabama down in Tuscaloosa. LeBaron Philon on one side, after getting 25 points in a weekend victory, upset of St. John's inside Madison Square Garden. On the other side, it is Braden Smith, the Purdue point guard, who is on pace right now to become the NCAA's all-time assist leader, breaking Bobby Hurley's record. He would need to average nearly 10 assists per game, and Purdue would probably have to get to about the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament for him to do it, and he would have to also not miss games. But so far, so good. He is on pace to do that. It's a 6 o'clock tip tonight on ESPN2. Alabama is a 3.5-point favorite, so this is one of those where the lower-ranked team is actually favored in the game because of where the game is going to be played. If this were a neutral court, Purdue would probably be a slight favorite because it's played in Coleman Coliseum. Alabama, 3.5-point favorite. Trey Kaufman-Wren for the Boilermakers, preseason All-American, expected to make his season debut tonight. And if you're a Tiger fan, probably worth your attention because you're going to be playing Purdue in the Bahamas very, very soon. 6 o'clock, ESPN2, Purdue, Alabama, first top 10 matchup of the season. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat.
How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it.
I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Defend your home court from pests with Terminex. Before cockroaches, spiders, and mice show up, Terminex it with our pest-free 365 plus year-round protection plan. Visit Terminex.com today and enter code SAVE50 at checkout to save $50. That's code SAVE50 at Terminex.com. Terms apply. Go Grizzlies. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Well, Big Bet Bennett.
What's going on?
The college football playoff chair, Mack Rhoades, the athletic director at Baylor, has stepped down from his position, citing personal reasons. This all happening within the past hour. It comes after there was a report that he had an incident with a Baylor football player during a game recently. Appeared to be something about a player was wearing a different color undershirt than the rest of the team. And the old white man had a problem with it.
Oh,
and you
God.
can see how this can get into a contentious situation. Apparently, this is interesting. Like, the Baylor football staff stood with the player and, like, got pissed at the athletic director. Like, you don't talk to my, like, you're wildly out of line. Chastising my players for how they're dressed. I mean, you could just think of how it went down.
Yeah.
And
that's the coach's job.
It's just that there's dynamics there that are uncomfortable.
Yep.
And by all accounts, or at least by most accounts, the Baylor staff really stood with the player and thought the athletic director had crossed the line.
Wow.
And now from Heather Dinich, I'll just read you straight from her story. Baylor athletic director and college football playoff chairman Mack Rhoades is stepping away from both roles for personal reasons. Executive Director Rich Clark told ESPN on Thursday that Rhoades will step down from his role with the committee at this time for personal reasons. The CFP likely will try to replace Rhoades and will work on naming a new chair. Rhoades told ESPN that he initiated the leave from his Baylor role but declined to explain why. Again, it's because of a reported incident between he and a player, and it just shows you like how quickly your life can change just by losing your emotions or letting your emotions get the best of you. I mean, we've had a few of these sports stories recently. One, presumably alcohol-induced. But, like, Mark Sanchez, like, just flew to Indianapolis to go to work, went out for a night of drinks, and ends up in a fight with a truck driver, a fight that authorities believe he initiated, ends up stabbed, hospitalized, charged with felonies, and lost his job.
Crazy.
Mac Rhodes.
That is still the craziest story.
I bet he just woke up on a Saturday as the athletic director at Baylor. This big religious university that's investing heavily in football and heavily in basketball and won a national championship in men's basketball recently. Life's pretty good. I'm the college football playoff chair. I'm the athletic director at Baylor. I'm going to a game today to watch my Bears. Life's fine. Everything's good. And then you get bothered by something that shouldn't have bothered you. You pop off about it. You end up in an altercation. And now your whole life's turned upside down.
Yikes.
This is why I don't say anything to anybody about anything.
Do whatever you want.
I don't talk to anybody about anything.
Yeah.
I just keep my mouth shut, man. I swear. There's 24 hours in a day. Outside of these two, I don't say much. I just keep to myself, man. I ain't trying to. I just try to keep to myself. You know, I fly in somewhere for work. You know what I do? I just try to keep to myself.
Nice.
I don't initiate fights with truck drivers or anybody else. I barely even initiate conversations. There's a lesson in there somewhere. I'm not telling you I'm living life the right way. Sometimes it feels antisocial. But I ain't been stabbed lately, you know? And I didn't have to resign from anything lately. So let's see if I can keep my streak going. Tough stuff. Good luck, Mac Rhodes.
What's today's biggest game?
Bennett, are you ready for football?
Yeah, I guess.
It's the Jets and the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's Thursday night football, Prime Video.
Should be a party.
You're not fired up for Prime Video? You don't like Thursday night? You've lost your love for Thursday night football?
No, I mean, I will watch it. I will watch it. Just Jets pay. I mean, again, this is one of those, like, at the beginning of the season, did you think this was going to be a premier game when you scheduled it?
It's Boston and New York.
It's Boston and New York. That's why you do it. Yeah. That's right.
It's their own little version of Yankees Red Sox.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
12.5. The Patriots. Total's 42.5. You think Cardi B's going to be there? She was sitting with Mr. Kraft.
I bet Cardi B will be there.
Cardi B on Prime Video could be something.
12.5 is way too big.
It's a big number.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. I don't know if it's too big. The Jets stink.
They stink, but I'm going Jets here. 12.5 is just such a big number. It's a divisional game. Like, it's in prime time. I don't. These games tend to get kind of weird sometimes. I'm going Jets here.
Did you see North Florida covered for you last night?
Yep, sure did.
They kept it within 41.5.
I knew they weren't going to lose by over 40, 2 games in a row. Well, they kept it to 40 with Florida. It was 40-point loss exactly. That wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to lose by more than that to an inferior team to Florida.
That was good analysis you had yesterday, Bennett, and you got it exactly right. Yes, Tennessee did win the game, but only by 33 points. So tonight, you're taking the underdog again.
Yeah.
The Jets plus 12.5. Bennett's riding with them. Kickoff, 7:15. You can watch it on Prime Video.
What are we watching on TV?
Can I interest you in being Eddie?
Eddie who?
Well, what Eddie would you like to be? If you could be any Eddie, what Eddie would you like to be?
I'm trying to think. I don't know any Eddies besides Eddie Murphy.
You could be Eddie Money.
I'm good.
You could be Eddie Munster.
I was going to say Eddie Munster.
You could be Eddie Murray.
You
could be Eddie Murray.
God, there's not a lot of Eddies out there.
Eddie Haskell.
What happened to Eddie? That's just not a common. There's not that many Eddies out there.
Well, I just named a bunch of Eddies.
No, some of them are like on their last leg. Is Eddie Munster? Is the kid that played Eddie Munster even still alive anymore?
Well, who knows? Eddie Vedder.
Oh, Eddie Vedder would be cool.
It would be cool to be Eddie Vedder, I bet. Eddie Van Halen.
I've seen him before.
Eddie Van Halen.
Rest in peace.
Assuming all these people are alive, what Eddie would you like to be? Eddie Guerrero? Ed Sheeran. I think it would be fun to be Ed Sheeran. I mean, you'd have to be redheaded, but I would do it.
I'd say Eddie Guerrero.
Ed Asner?
That's Ed, though. That's not Eddie.
Ed Helms? Ed O'Neill?
He's cool. I
think I wouldn't mind being Eddie Vedder.
I'm going to say Eddie Guerrero.
Even flow. I could be Eddie Vedder.
I've seen Pearl Jam.
I've seen Pearl Jam.
Just throwing that out there.
I'm throwing it out.
You said it. I just wanted to throw it out there.
I'll throw it out there, too. I saw Pearl Jam. You know where I saw Pearl Jam?
Here in this building?
I did see Pearl Jam at FedEx Forum once, yes. You know where else I saw Pearl Jam? Tulane's football stadium in New Orleans.
Extremely random.
In 1995.
Okay. I thought Tulane played at the Superdome.
Not back then. It was
No, they don't anymore, but they did at one point.
Pearl Jam 1995 New Orleans. Let's see it was Tulane's football stadium. I remember that.
Okay.
Tad Gormley Stadium. Guess who opened?
I'll say
very cool opener. I don't know that I appreciated it for what it was in the moment, but looking back on it, I can always say I saw this person live.
It's a person.
Well, it was famous in a band, but on this night it was a person.
Oh, they were famous in a band, but on this night it was a person. I don't know.
Joey Ramone.
How about that?
Joey Ramone opened.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Joey Ramone opened for Pearl Jam.
What did he do?
He just played Ramone songs. And,
I was going to say, he just played a bunch of Ramone songs.
At 18 years old, I was not properly equipped to appreciate Joey Ramone standing in front of me.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, I can be like...
It's legit.
I have another one like that, like where you see like stars open for bands who were, at the time, bigger than the star.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw Joey Ramone open for Pearl Jam once. And then in St. Louis once, went to see Nine Inch Nails. Guess who opened? And this is another great one. I went to see Nine Inch Nails, but I'm so glad I went to see Nine Inch Nails because this person opened. David Bowie.
That's pretty awesome and very wild that he opened for Nine Inch Nails.
So David Bowie opened for Nine Inch Nails.
That makes no sense to me.
I mean, in the mid-'90s, Nine Inch Nails was one of the biggest
huge.
bands in the world.
Sure. It's David Bowie. He's an
David,
icon.
but it was David Bowie.
Right. That's kind of wild.
There was a time a few years ago, kind of the reverse. It was Jason Isbell opening at the Orpheum for John Prine. And it was the opposite because at the time, Jason's bigger than John Prine. Like if John Prine tried to do a solo tour and Jason tried to do a solo tour in that year, Jason's would be bigger. And so I just remember somebody on Twitter were like, but why are you opening? And he was like, it's John Prine. John Prine will never open for me. I would not allow it.
Yeah.
So it's John Prine. I will always open for John Prine. I could do a Super Bowl halftime, but if I'm playing a show with John Prine, I open for John Prine. But in this case, it was David Bowie opening for Nine Inch Nails.
How about that?
Joey Ramone opening for Pearl Jam. I would like to be Eddie Vedder if I could be any Eddie. You would like to be Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah.
Okay. This is actually about Eddie Murphy. It's on Netflix.
I figured it was because he's been doing press lately.
It dropped yesterday, and I turned it on like after the Grizzlies game. You know, I traveled yesterday and it was a long day. And so we just sort of settled in bed. I was just like looking for something that is sort of mindless and I could just like fall asleep to. And so I was like, it just popped. I put the Netflix, it just popped up. It was right there at the front, Being Eddie. I was like, I love Eddie Murphy. I grew up with Eddie Murphy. And so I won't pretend that I watched all of it, but I watched enough of it to know that I remember being interested in it. It was Eddie Murphy as candid as maybe you've ever seen him, talking about just sort of his life and everything that went from Saturday Night Live. Like I guess if you're young, you don't even know, you probably have no concept for how big of a deal Eddie Murphy was. There was a time where Eddie Murphy was the biggest comedian in the world, the biggest movie star in the world. Like he saved Saturday Night Live in many ways. Like he was the thing that saved Saturday Night Live. Just an incredibly important person in the history of American television and film and comedy. And this is him just sort of telling his life story. And it also has interviews with various other all-time great comedians,
cool.
Most notably Dave Chappelle. So I'll watch the rest of it today or at some point. But if you're looking for something, if you're around my age and you grew up with Eddie Murphy, perhaps this will interest you. Being Eddie dropped on Netflix yesterday. It's in the top 10 of movies right now.
What's the best thing we've read?
The top 25 and 1 has been updated over at CBSSports.com. No change from last night. Only three ranked teams played yesterday in the top 25 and 1. It was Houston, blowout. Tennessee, blowout. Oregon, blowout. So no change. Purdue remains number 1, but I wrote about tonight's matchup between Purdue and Alabama. First game for Trey Kaufman-Wren, the preseason All-American. He had missed Purdue's first 2 games with like a hip pointer and a sore this and a sore that, but he's expected to be available tonight. If you want to read that, you can find it at CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow will be Friday, so let's start getting you ready for Grizz Cavs. We'll look back at Thursday night football, start getting you ready for Tigers and UNLV and a big college football weekend. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will enjoy mine, and we will meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.